children, welcome to week 5, and this is our story. It's called The Legend of Momotaro. It's a Japanese folktale, and it's all about this boy named Momotaro. So, once upon a time, in a certain village near a forest, there lived a beautiful couple, a man and a woman, quite elderly. And they were so happy together and lived together for years and years. However, they were a bit sad because for all their marriage life, they never had children. Although they longed for one, they were so happy and excited to be together. One day, the husband went to the forest to cut some trees, while the wife went down to the river to wash the laundry. As the wife was washing the laundry in the river, she was happily washing the clothes as she saw a giant peach floating on the river. And she said, "Wow, what a beautiful and big peach! Come here, you giant peach." And as if by magic, the peach came floating and stopped at where the lady was. And the lady struggled to pick up the big peach. And she said, "Wow, I'll carry you home and share you with my husband." So the lady put the peach aside and she continued with her laundry. After she was done, she lifted the big piece of peach and carried it on her back to the house. When she got to the house, it was already in the evening, so it was time for her to prepare a meal for her and her husband. And she went along cooking and making a very delicious meal for her husband. Shortly that evening, her husband arrived, and he was so tired. And when he got home, he sat on his chair, and as he looked, he saw a giant peach on the table. And he said, "Well, I am so hungry. It's about time I eat something." And he took the knife, just about to cut the peach open and eat the peach. But the wife said, "No, please wait for me. Let me just finish up here and then we'll come and cut the peach open together." And so the husband was just so frustrated and said, "Well, I'm hungry, but I'll wait." So once the lady was done, she took the knife and headed to where the peach was on the table. And she cut it open. And immediately, the peach cracked open. And guess what? The cry of a child came from inside the peach. And when the lady looked inside, it was a very handsome baby boy inside the peach. And the lady was so shocked. And he said, "Look, it's a baby boy." And the husband said, "Wow." And he lifted up the child and they looked at the child and he looked so handsome. And they said, "Wow, I think God has answered our prayers. Finally, we have a child, a very magical one for that matter. From now on, we will raise this child as our own." And they gave the child the name Momotaro, meaning a little peachling. And they raised the child with everything that he ever needed. The mom would feed him with very delicious spinach dumplings that were his favorite meal. So Momotaro grew, loving to have so much fun, to explore and to have quite an adventure. And he was always with his father to the forest, to the village, and wherever else the father went. One day they went to the village to buy some rice. And when they were in the village, they heard some people saying about some 3 demons that were bringing terror to their land. They would come and steal all their treasure, beat them up, destroy their land. And those who were speaking were so frustrated and they really sounded like they needed help. And so Momotaro was just listening and he thought, "I think I should help my village." And he continued to listen. And he heard the villagers talk about an island in the sea where these 3 demons lived. And he swore to destroy them. So after a few days, Momotaro planned to visit this island to go and fight these demons that were really troubling the village. His parents were so worried, but they could not stop Momotaro as he was so determined to go and fight these demons. So his mother packed a whole basket of his favorite spinach dumplings. And they were also worried, but they let their son go. And they hugged him and kissed him and gave him the basket of spinach dumplings. As Momotaro was happily walking along the street, he found a dog. And the dog sniffed, and he said, "Can I share some of the spinach dumplings with you? This sounds so yummy." And Momotaro was so kind and generous, and so he gave one of his dumplings to the dog. And the dog said, "Can I help you carry your bag? I am happy to come along." And Momotaro was so excited, and he said, "Yeah, it's fine. I am going to the island of the demons." And the dog said, "All right, I'm happy to come." And they were walking along the path when they got to a mountain. And as they were climbing the mountain, a monkey jumped onto them and said, "Please, can I share your food with you? It smells so delicious." And Momotaro again was so kind, and he took out one of his spinach dumplings and gave it to the monkey. And the monkey said, "Please, can I come along with you in your journey?" And Momotaro and the dog were so glad, and they said, "Yeah, sure, please come with us." And they walked and crossed the mountain and took a long path into the forest, heading towards the sea. On their way, a bird came flying over them happily and said, "Please share with me some of your food. I can already see you are carrying some nice things. Please share them with me." And Momotaro was so glad and gave one of his spinach dumplings to the bird. And as they were approaching the beach, they already could see the castle where the demons would live. However, they needed to cross the sea, and they needed a boat. And they stood there looking and wondering what to do. And suddenly the monkey said, "Look over there! I can see a fisherman." And so they all walked towards the fisherman, who was just tying and cleaning his nets, ready to go home. And the fisherman was so kind and offered them his boat. And they took the boat into the sea and headed to the demon's castle. And as they approached the castle, they could see these very high walls and the big gates. And as they got there, Momotaro tried to push the gates, but they were so tall and thick. And Momotaro thought, "What would I do?" So he took some of his spinach dumplings and gave one to the bird and to the monkey. And so the bird got the strength and was able to carry the monkey over the walls. And when they got over the walls, the monkey was able to open the gate for Momotaro to come in. And when they got in, the demons were already there waiting for them. And they said, "Momotaro, what are you doing here? Have you come to destroy us?" And Momotaro said, he was very courageous, and he said, "Yes, you have been terrorizing my village, and I think it's about time you return all the treasure and property that you've stolen from us." And once again, he took out some spinach dumplings and gave one to the dog, another to the monkey, and one to the bird. And they were full of strength. And the dog jumped onto one of the demons and bit his leg, and the demon fell to the floor. And the bird, he jumped onto the nose of one of the demons and pinched it, and the demon fell to the ground. Wow. And the monkey, He jumped onto one of them and really scratched them up, and they all fell to the ground. And Momotaro was so excited that he was able, with the help of the monkey, the dog, and the bird, to fight the three demons. And for sure, the demons experienced quite a fight. And they were so regretful, and they said, Momotaro, we are really sorry. Please take all the treasure that you need. Please just leave us alone. And Momotaro was so excited, and he said, aha, but I will take all the property that you took from my village, but you have to promise not to come back and not to come after me. And the demons were already so frustrated and so quiet, and they said, it's okay, Momotaro. And they packed all the gold and all the treasures into a cart, and they carried the cart back to the sea. And they got to their boat and put all the treasure inside. The boat was really quite heavy with carrying the treasure. And when Momotaro got home, he got to his village, and he shared all the treasure with the poor people from his village. And for sure, everyone was so excited because Momotaro had become a source of their strength, a source of joy. And they were all so excited, including the emperor. And he vowed to give the princess for marriage to Momotaro. And Momotaro was able to marry the princess of the land. The end.